Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Happy January 2026. We're a week in. I hope that you all are doing well so far. Okay. Today we're talking about the habits of emotionally mature people. And when I was doing my research and making my list of what are some of the characteristics of emotionally mature people, I was thinking, I try to be all of these things, but I don't think any of us is all of these things all the time. So, as always with this podcast, just know when you listen to this episode that these are life lessons and these are life goals, okay? That we have moments where we are emotionally immature and, we're not proud of the way we behave and it's like, I did not do well in that situation. And sometimes we're so upset and immature about something in a way that we can't even think that I was immature about the situation. It's just like, I don't really care. I reacted the way I did because I was so mad or frustrated or upset. Okay. So I want to share this with all of you. I think these are important traits and this is something for all of us to work on throughout our lives. Okay. So I want to say that to all of you. And I see that smirk on your face if I'm saying this.
Well, you said emotionally mature. I was like, okay, we qualify for that. Mature.
Emotionally mature.
Without the emotion in front of it. Mature, maybe you and I aren't the best.
Sometimes we act childish, but I think that's okay.
I'm not the best too, to be
Silliness and fun and playfulness is such an important part of life, at least for me and you.
True.
And I'm telling you, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't make it. When I was down at Second City in improv, you would make it if you weren't silly, because everybody down there is silly and loves to play and have fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's the stuff of life.
Gotta smile.
Humor and comedy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before we get started, I want to talk to you about my emotional mastery group coaching that's starting in a few weeks. If you are at all interested in growing yourself, if you are interested in personal development, if you think to yourself, I wish I had the tools. I wish I knew what to say in those moments. And you've listened to others before, maybe on social media, maybe in other podcasts, and then, it goes in one ear and out the other. You kind of like listen and forget it. Then this group is for you. Okay. So this is, I think that this is something that many of us, at some level, we understand and know what emotional maturity is and emotional regulation, but we don't know how to access it. This is what this group is for, okay? It starts January 21st of this year. It's 6 weeks. It's $497, and I'm capping it at 10 people, okay? Because this isn't just a sit quietly in a giant group of people and hope that you absorb something situation, which I know, like I've said, I've been in those big group coaching programs before. And this comes out to being, everybody, about $88 US a session. I wish that I had this 25 years ago. I wish that someone taught me what I'm going to teach all of you. Okay. This is coaching where you're going to bring your real life patterns, your triggers, your relationships, your overthinking, your people pleasing, your reactivity. And I'm going to help you build a system for responding differently. Okay. You're going to learn tools that you can use in real time. You're going to get my eyes on your specific situation. That's game changing. Okay. So that's why we're keeping this small, because you're getting my eyes on your specific looping behaviors or looping thinking, okay? And you're going to leave with changes that actually stick, not just insight and then you get off and you completely forget about it, okay? So if you want 2026 to feel different and to be different in your life, do it do it differently. Don't do it the way you've always done it, all right? Emotional mastery, it starts January 21st. Grab your spot now. I want to see you in there, okay?
And you're capping it at 10.
I'm capping it at 10.
So
and if I get more than 10 people, then I'm going to start another group.
Okay.
I'll get other groups going, but I'm capping it at 10 because 10 is really that magic number where we're together for over an hour and you get that time and attention with me.
Sure. Yeah.
It's game changing. I'm telling you, it's game changing. So
there's a little bit of urgency. I mean, if you're going to jump because like once you hit 10, like you said, then it's like, then you got to hope that you can fill a second group or a third. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So jump in. Don't wait, everybody. If you're listening to this is your message. Okay. Do it. I understand. I mean, there have been times in my life like, oh, I don't feel like paying the money. But if you've been listening to me or watching me for long enough here on YouTube, I'm going to I'm going to toot my own horn here. I'm the real deal. I've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of people on social media that are touting and spouting off a lot of stuff. And you know what? What's their credentialing? What's their background? I think that you can read my testimonials. You can get people who know me who are like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Okay. And I'm here to help you move the needle in your life. Okay. Let's get on to the episode.
Go. I love it.
All right. So let's go. So, what are some of the habits of emotionally mature people? Okay. I'm going to go down a list. I'm just going to list them all for you. And then if you want, you can play them back and you can listen to it in more detail. Okay. Number one, this is a big one. They pause before they react. This is so huge. And it doesn't mean that they don't still get triggered. They don't still get activated emotionally about something that is said to them or something that is done around them. Okay. They just don't hand the steering wheel off to the trigger. Okay. They hold on to the steering wheel. They feel that surge of anger, of shame, of panic. They feel defensive. They feel all the feelings that we all feel, right? But they've created a beat of space before they respond. So I always tell my clients, if you've ever worked with me before, you also know this. Respond, don't react. And I tell my clients all the time, you need to take an adult timeout. Like we used to tell our kids, do like a 10-second or a minute timeout. There's thoughts now about if that ever really works. But for us adults, I tell them next time that happens, I want you to leave the room. I want you to, even if you can't leave the room, you're sitting maybe at a dinner table, take a deep breath, count to 10, then say something. Don't react. React is like knee jerk when the doctor puts the thing on your knee to check for your reactions. That's what, when we are emotionally immature, we are not pausing. We're just reacting.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one, so I like this one a lot. And I try to do this like all the time, which is impossible.
Yeah.
But I can say when I do it, it's an amazing feeling. Like, okay, it's like you got control, good call, right? Like
It's a great tool.
You appreciate it later.
Yeah.
And when I don't do it, like if I just like just turn my brain off for a second and just react like a dumb shit, basically, I regret it later as well. Like that's like it's the opposite. It's like oh man, you kick yourself for a second, right? It's
well,
like,
that's what this whole emotional mastery course is about. Because I think so many times we're in situations and we don't like the way we reacted or the way, even how we felt on the inside. And it's like, I wish, you know how you get mad inside yourself and you're like driving away from a situation. You're at home. You're like, oh, I wish I'd said this. I wish I'd said that. I wish I'd told him this or told her that. I wish I said that to them. That's what this group is really about, right?
Yeah.
And this is what, the habits of emotionally mature people, this is what they really work hard on this.
Yeah.
And they're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's, what does it sound like? It sounds like, okay, I'm getting triggered right now. I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to come back to the situation, right?
Yeah.
That's that respond or react. It looks like not sending that text back to the person, not doing the speech, giving, I'm like giving somebody a lecture. It's not doing that. It's not finishing the fight in the moment. Like, we're going to finish this. I'm going to finish it now and I'm going to win. They don't have that urge to finish the fight. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think when you do react poorly, I mean, like nobody likes to think about what you look like when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Like you cringe almost like, oh gosh, I can't believe I did that. I said that my eyes are like bugging out of my
We've
head.
all done that.
Yes.
We've
but like
all
you
done-
don't,
yeah.
you don't like it. And later on you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I hate that I did that.
Hopefully you do.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you don't, that's another episode.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Okay. So what's another habit of emotionally mature people? They own their part without self-attacking. So this is big. So they can take responsibility without collapsing into shame or launching into excuses, right? There's reasons that there are excuses in life. They don't launch into excuses. It's for them, it's like this admission that, okay, I did that, not proud of it, and I'm going to adjust. Yeah, I did do that. They own it, but they don't like go into the shame spiral or rip on themselves about Anna, you're this and you're that, what the self-talk. All right. They don't do that. Like, all right, I'm going to adjust. It sounds like okay, that was on me. That was on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I behaved poorly there. I acted poorly. It's not I'm this terrible person. You all can think about like all, the litany of things we could say about ourselves where we're ripping on ourselves because, you know, you owned it, you owned your part, but you're also now like going into self-critical mode. Most immature people are not doing that. That's not really accountability. That's more of a shame spiral.
Mm.
So accountability is okay, yeah, I did that. And I'm not a terrible person. I'm working on it. I'm adjusting, I'm working on, I've got something to learn here.
Yeah.
So remember, don't go to the place of feeling full of shame that there's something wrong with you. You keep it more surface level of, what I did that wasn't cool. I'm adjusting. I'll fix it. I'm going to work on that. But don't go into the place of criticizing yourself. Okay. That's doing you no favors. Okay. And that's something that people who are emotionally mature have really worked on.
Yeah. So why is it so hard for people to own? Why is it such a challenge? Because I mean, I think that I
It's such a
live
challenge.
that with some human literally every single day. Why?
Okay. Well, it's ego. Number one, it's ego. I think there's a defensiveness in there. So if someone is not going to own their part, there's a defensiveness. And what's underneath the defensiveness, I really believe it's some form of insecurity,
Hmm.
of not being able to sort of like show your underbelly, not being willing or able to show your soft side or your insecurities for fear that you will be air quote exposed or air quote seen in a way you're not comfortable with vulnerability. And that's a really good sign of emotional immaturity. And when I say that for all of you, that's not a judgment. That's something I think that so many of us need to work on to advance ourselves. If you
Sure.
if you really are interested in personal development, because I've seen quite a bit of that. And I've worked with people in coaching about let's move you out of that. What's that really about for you? And let's get you to a place where you can learn to sit with you and sit with your vulnerabilities and sit with your flaws and sit with the pockmarks on your face. Every single one of us, we have pockmarks on our face. We have scars on our face. Every single one of us has done something wrong, done someone dirty, not proud of the way we behave. Every single one of us. That's what makes us all so imperfect. And that's okay. I think for the people who are that defensive, what I would say to you, Tim, is try to look underneath what's really going on for them. And I know that you might be in a work situation or you're in a relationship in your personal life with someone. They don't want you psychoanalyzing them. That's going to be the most irritating thing.
Sure it is.
It is
Yeah.
because they don't want to hear what you don't want you sort of one upping them. Like, okay, so what's that about that you're so defensive? They don't want to hear it. I think you just have to manage yourself through that conversation with them, knowing that that's who they are or how they're operating at this time in their life.
Yeah.
Because we know people who are so defensive. I know people who are so defensive. And so what happens is, unfortunately, if there's not change and there's not sort of self work being done, people start to back away from them.
Sure they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because there's no
Yeah,
acknowledgement.
yeah. I mean, you don't want to interface, right? Whether it's a work relationship or a
A personal
personal
one.
one, it's like you want to minimize the amount of interaction
Yeah.
at some point if
Right.
it continues to be a
Right.
thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. The next habit of emotionally mature people is they tolerate discomfort instead of outsourcing it. And this is a really big one. So they don't make other people manage their anxiety, their jealousy, maybe their insecurities or their disappointments in life. They can sit in the hard feelings without demanding instant reassurance, control, maybe demanding agreement or a fix. And this alone is why many people have come to me for individual and group coaching, because this is something that's really hard, I think, for many of us, is to learn to be still, to be quiet, and to sit with ourselves. And this is where meditation is huge. Learning, it's a practice. Like I've said before in here, like, how we say yoga is a practice, or anything. Running is a practice. You get better if you keep on running or whatever, swimming, you name it, anything in your life. You want to work on being a content creator. You get better and better the more you practice it, right? All the things in life. You want to be a writer, you get better the more you write, right? And this is something when it comes to our emotional lives, our inner worlds, we struggle with sitting with what might percolate to the surface. So if there's anything to learn, I think that this is something that we all can probably learn. And if we're doing it, we can even better it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is emotional adulthood, really. It's like I can feel this feeling that's coming up for me without acting on it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
All the while knowing that at some point you will have to act on it, right? You're going to have to deal with it.
But in this moment,
yeah,
I'm triggered and I could fly off the handle or I could just start even ripping on myself. I'm just going to sit quietly with this and let this feeling sort of be there. I know it's percolating, it's marinating. I'm just going to sit with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to be curious about why now, what's coming up for me, why now, what is this about for me?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable the insights you will find when you do this.
Yeah, and you're almost like you're trying to look a little bit down the road for yourself, right? Like you're trying to see like, okay, I need to deal with this now, and this is why I'm dealing with it this way now because I don't want to fly off the handle, and I know that I'm going to need to deal with it at some point. So you kind of look into the future and like, okay, I'm going to handle it, and I'm going to do these things, and on the other side is going to be better, whatever that means for you, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay, the next one, they tell the truth early. They tell the truth early. They don't wait until resentment has a full personality of its own. They don't wait because what happens when we wait and we're upset is we do develop resentment towards others, especially towards others, I think. They speak up while the issue is still small. And this is a big one. And this does take emotional intelligence and one who's working on emotional maturity. They wait. They don't wait. The issue is still small because mature people, they're not confusing being nice with being silent. They bring it up when it first starts happening for them. So it doesn't end up being something you're blowing up about.
Yeah.
And that's why I said at the beginning of this episode, that's why these are life lessons, things we work on throughout our lives if we want to better our lives. I know that these are hard.
Yeah.
These are hard. They're hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm challenged by this because sometimes I just say it's not worth it, let it go. I have done that. I probably still do that rather than saying, hey, can we talk? Do you got a minute? Well, I'm getting better. And people in my life that I'm very close to are also getting better at it. We nip it in the bud. We've all worked on that. We nip it in the bud. Hey, there's something going on. I'm feeling, you said this last night and it's bothering me, when this happened. Like it's not months and months out now, which is a big deal. They're hard conversations. They're hard to have in the very beginning, but then you very quickly settle and then you get into what it is.
Yeah. So this one is a little confusing. They tell the truth early. Give us a quick little example of exactly what you're referring to.
Okay. Telling the truth late. Telling the truth late is it's been 6 months. It's been 3 months. It's been maybe 2 weeks and you're annoyed as hell at that person. You are resentful.
Okay.
Because they keep doing this. They keep saying this. They keep making these sarcastic comments. They keep digging at you.
Yeah.
Like all this passive aggressive stuff. And you have had it. And the last one they did was at Thanksgiving, which was a month ago, and you are done. And let's say you're like, oh yeah, that's why like on Christmas, I just completely lost my marbles and went off on them on Christmas Eve. I'm tired of it. They've done it for so long.
Yeah.
That's responding too late.
Okay.
And I think
that makes sense.
Yeah. The challenge, and I'm just using it because we just had the holidays here in the US, in Canada, well, a lot of the world. I think that starting early is you take the time and you sit with yourself, like I just said in the step before, and you notice what's coming up for you. This person, I'm feeling a tinge of irritation. This person's making comments, has made a couple comments. Deal with it then.
Yeah.
Deal with it then. So maybe they said something to me back in we were out in September, they made a comment. This coworker, at the staff meeting, I noticed a couple of times, they make comments in front of other people. or they like undermine me, or it's like they sabotage me. I'm feeling sabotaged. But that was back in like October, and you didn't say anything about it because you're a little afraid. It's okay. You're a little afraid.
Yeah. So you're telling your truth. You're telling, right, your true feelings.
This is how I feel.
Yeah,
this is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
This is how I'm feeling. This is how this is how I'm feeling on the inside. I would say, don't say to people, this is in general, you made me feel this way. We do this whole, you made me feel. A lot of times, like I'd get mad at you, like you made me. But I really step away from it, because there's a school of thought that says nobody can really make you feel anything. That if you feel it, you feel it, but no one made you feel those feelings. You felt them. And your feelings are legit. Your feelings are valid, but you felt that way. Like, Tim, you and I got in, let's say, an argument, and you said something to me, and then I felt a way. I reacted to you, and I felt a certain way, and I was really mad at you.
Yeah.
I know I've said to you before, you've made me feel this way. And, you and I have gone back and forth about, no, I can't make you feel that way because I said that to you many years ago.
Right. So we have become good at like reminding the other person.
And it doesn't take away from how I feel. My feelings are valid. My feelings are legit. You didn't make me feel that way. I felt that. That's what came up for me.
Yeah.
So I think, for all of us to sit with, okay, I'm feeling this way, and to go and talk to that person, muster up the courage, find the courage, be brave. Go back to the episode on courage and bravery. Find the courage inside yourself. Get help with it. Get support. Talk to somebody about it. Then be brave and go and talk to them. Text them, hey, can we talk? Do you have a minute we can talk? And that's going to get their flags up big time. You send text like that.
Sure.
It's hey, can I call you right now? Or can we meet for coffee? They're going to be like, well, what's up?
Yeah.
And they're going to, no, okay, yeah. What's going on? What's
I'm
going
all
on?
in.
Yeah, because they want to know what's going on.
Definitely.
And then, and I always say this too. It's in the delivery of your message. It's not in what I think so much you say, for the most part. I think it's almost always, not always, but almost always, the delivery, how you deliver the message, the tone in your voice, the rate at which you're speaking, okay? So work on your delivery. You can do it. You can find a way to talk to that person. So they deal with the resentment early. They don't wait.
Yeah.
Okay? They tell the truth early. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay. So, it might sound like, let's say, can I call, and you say, can I call you? Yeah. Or can we meet for coffee? Yeah. And you could say to that person, listen, I want to talk about this with you now, when it's not a really big deal for me, but it is something that's coming up for me. And I want with you, and I want to talk to you about how I feel before it becomes a bigger thing. That's perfectly fine. You can use that script. I want to talk about something. It's not real big right now, but I don't want it to get bigger.
Yeah.
I think people appreciate it. And let me tell you, they'll never forget you said it.
Yeah. And it's direct enough, right? Like it's kind of vague, but it's direct enough where it's like, okay, you have my attention, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like you're coming in and you're considering my position or my temperament or my feelings, whatever, fill in the blank. But like you've thought this through, and you're coming to me now, and let's have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one, they add nuance to every situation. And this is really important. And I think why I'm not doing so well on TikTok and Instagram.
What?
Because I add nuance to every situation. I give myself credit on this one. I give myself a pat on the back. Well, it's funny because I was talking to a social media manager who said, you're too nuanced. I'm like, yeah, because I'm a trained licensed mental health professional. And I've been talking with, talk about 10,000 hours. I put in how many thousands of hours talking with therapy and coaching clients for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Everything is nuanced. And the social media person said, yeah, but social media doesn't care about nuance. They want you to have these sound bites. They want you to have these like quick takeaways. I'm like, well, I can't. Like, that's why you're not growing. I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to change that. I don't think I can change that about me, because there's nuance to every situation. And that's what emotional maturity is about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back right there.
Some of those are just, it's irritating, right? It's like bait and switch. Like the title says one thing and that got you, right? Then you click on it and then you're like,
stay and you scroll.
Well, you're not even talking about that. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
but at that point you've already clicked and you're semi into it.
There is that too, but there's a lot of, most of the people in my field, like I don't follow a lot of other coaches and therapists. The few I do, I have a ton of respect for, and they're trying as best they can. There's some really good ones on there, but they are speaking in general. And if I ever respond to a situation what's trending, like the no contact, low contact with parents right now with millennials and Gen Zs going no contact with their parents, I did a whole post on it. So I think I just talked about it on here before, like a year ago in December of 2024, I got that thing went viral, and it was a 10-minute monologue on my part, like a TED talk about going low contact or no contact with your parents. And basically I said, if this is you and your kids are going low or no contact with you, there's a reason for it. Say you're sorry. Just say you're sorry. And people like, no, not saying I'm sorry. Like, oh, geez, did I get like comment? I did talk about it, I think just on the podcast last week. Because
Sure.
people like, you therapists are the worst. This is why I hate therapy. And you guys are like, people just were like, wow, keyboard warriors with going on and ripping about therapists in general and ripping on me personally. Like, okay, I'm not taking it personally. I mean, it's social media. But, you have to try to add nuance to every situation. That's interesting. That's the one time I spoke in generalities on that was on TikTok. Jeez, did I get blowback on that? So, all right. Emotionally mature people, they refuse black and white thinking, right? So we consider those thought distortions. A black and white thinking is considered to be a thought distortion. So things are all good or all bad. It's always and never. We've talked about that on the podcast. Like, try not to say always and never, because those are absolute statements. In life, it really isn't about always and never. You never this, you never that, you always this, you always that, right? They refuse to think and to speak in that way versus, someone's always the victim and someone's always the villain. Like, you're always a victim and I'm always the bad guy, good cop, bad cop. They don't think in such black and whites like that, right? They can hold that two things can be true at once, right? Without short circuiting. They don't short circuit. They can say like, okay, yeah, these both can exist.
Yeah. No, I was going to say two things can be true at once, or two versions of the same thing can be true at once, right? Because you and I can have a difference of opinion, and I'm not all right in the way that I'm saying it, in the way that I'm thinking about it, and same with you, right? But I also need to be aware that that's the case,
and that takes work.
It does,
because when we really get dug in and we really get strong on something, we do kind of want to be right.
Yeah,
we do get that way. Right?
And how many times, like, it's happened before? Like, this happened to me at work, and I'm sure you and I, it's happened hundreds of times. But like you feel like you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you kind of like realize like, oh, I'm not actually all right. But yet then do you then say that out loud? Do you admit it? Right. Or do you just continue the journey?
Most of us, most of the time are not 100% right.
Yeah.
And I think what trips people up is that when they're in a fight, an argument with somebody, whether it be a coworker, a family member, a friend, is that they don't feel seen and heard for what part they do feel right about, or that maybe they are correct about. That we get, like I said earlier, so defensive. We won't throw each other a bone, the other person a bone, so to speak, and say, okay, I get your point there. So people who are emotionally mature, they may say like, I'm really hurt. I'm really hurt that you did that. I understand now why you did it, and I'm still hurt.
Yeah.
I know I've said this to my kids, or maybe, I don't know, like, I know I've said this before. I know I've said this to kids, like, I'm disappointed and I still love you. I'm totally disappointed in you. I'm disappointed that happened. I'm disappointed you did that. I still love you.
Yeah.
It
doesn't affect the bigger picture.
There's two things here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's not, you still love them, and it's like you're disapproving, or you're not good with a decision more than it is about the person, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Or like, that did not work for me. What you did not work for me. I'm not making you the villain here.
Yeah.
And that did not work for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So nuance is really what keeps conflict from becoming like a character trait, like a character trial, really, I should say. It's nuance. And I think that's I think a lot of us do a good job with this. Like in real life, IRL, in real life with each other, I do think we do a pretty good job of this with one-on-one eye contact situations. I do think that, I was just saying earlier, like social media doesn't care about nuance, but I think in real life with each other, I think we all do an okay job with this. I don't see this as being a hard one for people as much. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's another trait of emotionally mature people? I'm going to talk about boundaries. I talk about boundaries almost every episode at this point.
Mhm.
They hold boundaries without drama. That's key. Without drama are the operative words. So they don't punish, they don't lecture people, they don't threaten you, and they don't over explain. They just state the limit and live inside of it. That's what they do. They state the limit and they live there. Okay. They don't go on and on and on. Actually, if they do go on and on and on, they kind of over talk and talk and talk and talk. The respect for that person actually goes down because they're talking so much.
Well, yeah, and half the
right?
time they're just trying to talk themselves into something,
Because
right?
they're trying to have their boundary.
Yeah.
But I would say you keep your words to a minimum as best you can because you garner more respect
Yeah.
and you garner self-respect, which is more important than others' respect.
I think when
right?
people get like diarrhea of the mouth like that, I think that that's the moment when they realize that they're probably not right
Yeah.
or not as right as they thought they were, but yet they're scrambling at that point, right? To land grab onto
Well,
something
they're trying to
else.
hold a boundary.
Totally.
And hold that boundary, but don't have drama with it. So this
Yeah.
is a practice and something for you all to work on
Yeah.
if you need to. So the immature boundary is you better not do that again. You better, not say this to that person. You better, I don't know, like you better not give me a hard time when I say I want to leave at 10 on Christmas Eve, have to at the Hanukkah dinner, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you better, that's a more immature boundary, something to be worked on. A more mature boundary might say, I'm not available for that. I'm not available for that. Or I'm available for 15 minutes. I'm available, I'm available to meet you, but I have a hard stop at noon. Those are really healthy, succinct boundaries. And a boundary of someone who's got a little bit more emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they follow through calmly with that boundary. It's calm, calm, calm. Okay. The one thing I would take away from this is developing the self-awareness to reduce your drama. And that's a hard one because I think self-awareness is something, is it Tasha Eurich who did the research and wrote the book about self-awareness, the clinical psychologist, and that's her platform is all about self-awareness. And she said, I talked about it on here before as well, like 92% of people the world over think they're self-aware and are not, like lack self-awareness. Yeah.
That's big.
It's a big. I took her test
Yeah.
years ago and I thought, I'm a therapist and I'm a coach. I know what I'm doing here. I'm pretty self-aware. I didn't do well on the test. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, oh, I got some work to do.
Go back to the drawing board, right?
Yeah. It's an exhaustive test.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, okay. I was humbled by it and lots to learn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so emotionally mature people, they listen to understand, not to win. This is a big one. It's a really big one. I know lots of people who need to work on this. And if you're listening, you know who you are. I'm kind of joking. I love you.
Nice.
They listen to understand, not to win an argument. They don't treat conversations like a debate. They're like, some people treat conversations like, I got to win. I want to win this one. I always want to win. All right.
That's so irritating.
Yeah.
though.
And we know people and they lack the awareness to realize that they're doing it. Right.
Yeah.
And they can hear something uncomfortable without interrupting. The people who have a little bit more maturity, they don't have to interrupt, or correcting another person or sort of like building their case like a lawyer. Emotionally mature people, like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to go there.
Yeah.
They can stay quiet. I've had to work on this. This has been a big one for me over the years. I've really, really worked hard on this one. A lot of it comes from my family of origin. We're competitive. We like to debate. I think a lot of us, myself, like to be right, and I've really had to work on it. And I think I have. I mean, I think that, I've had a couple of siblings tell me that I'm showing up really differently. You're different. You've made some changes. You're quieter because it's not worth it for me. I don't care to win an argument. Like I feel, thank God, I'm confident. I feel good about myself on the inside. I don't need to win. I can let everybody else argue.
Yeah.
And you all go at it. I don't want to, and I don't want to really be around it anymore. Like I want to like leave the room and go somewhere else. I don't want to listen to all the arguing and debating because I love a good argument. I love a good debate. Don't get me wrong. Love it, love it, love it. I don't like it. I when people are doing it to try to understand each other, I love to be a fly on the wall or be in the room and listen to that because I want to learn from both who bring good information, knowledge to the table. But when we all know, right? We all know when the conversation is about, oh, this person, this is their ego. They just want to win. It's a turnoff. And believe me, everybody else that's there, they are onto it. They know it too. You know ego, even if you don't understand really what ego is, you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it. It could be a little bit of a narcissism, people concerned about their image, how they look to others, but it's more about something that's going on inside of them, of they need to be right, they need to be correct. And I think that even when people like are correct and are right, they don't have to argue it. They just know it on the inside. And they're like, okay, sure. I understand. I see your point.
Yeah.
You're wrong, but I see your point. They might think that they don't say it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, so the conversations that are really interesting to watch are the ones where it starts off as like a debate, or it's everybody has a side and everybody's kind of sharing their opinion, and then all of a sudden there's a shift to what you just described, where somebody decides, you know what, this is no longer just a friendly debate or bantering back and forth. Now I need to win this one.
And you
Right?
could say the whole country is emotionally immature right now because it seems like many, many people are not listening to understand one another.
Yeah.
The Democrats and Republicans are not listening to understand. They're listening to win. And they're not listening. They're actually putting each other down, ripping on each other, calling each other stupid, calling each other all kinds of things in this country. And nobody's listening to try to understand the other side, especially in the mainstream media, the traditional media, and in social media. When I talk with people in real life, like, my therapy and coaching clients sometimes will bring up, it's more around the elections. Politics will come up. It does come up. And, my job is to listen. And it's interesting because even if inside myself, I don't really agree with their political viewpoint, by listening, I'm like, yeah, actually, I understand that. They got a point there.
Yeah.
And when we talk about politics with people, the few times we do, we don't a whole lot. I think we're exhausted.
It's
We've
risky.
all become exhausted by it.
Yeah.
And it's risky. And I don't think anybody really wants to anymore. At least our friends, nobody
Yeah.
really wants to do that. And not in group settings, because group settings, I think ego gets involved. I think being right gets involved. When you're one-on-one, when I'm walking on a walk with someone and it comes up, I do find that like, well, I agree with many of my friends, but I have certain people that I have different political viewpoints. I'm like, I kind of understand that. And even if I don't understand, I'm like, but I respect you and those are your thoughts. Those are
Yeah.
your opinions.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't think, believe me, I'm not any better than anybody else, but I do think we all need to work harder to try to listen, to understand people, right? That's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's been a big problem on not just a micro level, which I'm talking about here in personal relationships, but this is a problem at the macro level, nationally and internationally. This has become a problem.
Yeah. You and I we've always said, like, don't, when it's that person, that person is basically taking the opportunity of silence. Like, okay, I'm gonna let you say something for a second. I shouldn't be reloading at that point.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not reloading to fire back.
They're just quiet because they're thinking of their rebuttal.
Exactly.
They're not quiet because they're actually listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think another sign of emotional maturity is people who really stop talking and really listen to other people. And I know for people with attention deficit, that can be hard, especially hard. I have ADHD. It's hard for me, but I think I've been so trained as a therapist for so many years. I mean, I started learning how to do this when I was 18 years old, active listening classes my freshman year of college. So it's been trained in me. And I do notice with people who have attention deficit, it's harder for them. And I really get it. I empathize with that. And I think that's something that if that's something you struggle with, inattentiveness and lack of focus, is to really find a way to work on not talking. And even if you're not talking and you don't have the hyper inattentive piece and you just have the attention deficit piece, to work on or work with someone who can help you listen better. Because I think that, that's why people interrupt, because they're not listening, because they don't have the bandwidth to be able to really listen to you.
Right.
And I think that gets lost because people feel disrespected. They may not know your attention deficit, but they feel disrespected. They feel not seen and heard. And I don't think people with ADHD mean to do that. They don't mean to. It's neurodivergence. They think differently. And I think it is a life skill with attention deficit. I'm going to say ADD because now we're just saying ADD. We're not saying ADHD, ADD anymore, just attention deficit, ADD. It's a life skill to learn to listen better.
Yeah.
Really important.
No, I think so.
Little caveat I wanted to add in there.
Well, here's another little strategy I think that works well too, is like when you're in one of those conversations where it's a back and forth, and then you are the one that like you've taken a pause because the other person's saying whatever it is they want to say, responding to what you said. Coming back out of that moment of pause and quiet for me, let's just say, if it's you and I, if I come back and I just start firing away at you, you expect that that's going to be the case, right? But if I come back out of my moment of silence and I ask you a question, you're not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Right? That's gonna hopefully steer the conversation maybe a different direction versus if I just come back and just like have something to say against what you just presented, then it is a debate. It's a heavy debate at that point.
I have attention deficit, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the opposite of me. You're a low anxiety person. You're very calm, chill. That's how you roll in life, which is a wonderful gift that you have been given, Tim, because you are one of the few people I know really. You have I wouldn't say you don't have anxiety, but it's on the inside. But and you don't show it. I know you've told me you get anxious from time. You don't even really talk about anxiety. I mean, you really are a calm, chill person, mentally very healthy, and that's a gift from God, I think. You really have been getting that gift. So
I'm grateful for the gift.
Yeah.
The gift, for sure.
And you have good leadership skills because of it. For somebody like me, being married to me, what's it like for you with me, like sometimes not listening, or where do you see me? What is it that I need to work on, and what is it that I do well? So let's get personal here.
Well, we've had these conversations before. So
on the podcast?
Maybe not on the podcast, but like in life we have. Yeah.
So what is it that, do you want to, I'm not expose myself completely.
Give me the question. What exactly?
So what is it? Because you are the opposite of me, and I have ADHD.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have a heart. So the kids have always said, since they've been adults, they're all in their 20s now, early 30s. They said, Mom, my one daughter said, Mom, you're a really great therapist, because there are times you talk to me like a therapist and you have great insight and great, advice or guidance, but you don't listen as my mom. And a lot of them have said that. I'm like, okay, maybe and sometimes I think I'm exhausted sometimes from work that I can't listen to one more person talk about, whatever. It's, whether that be right or wrong, they have said that you don't listen. And I've had to really work on that with the kids, because I think I have been I am. I've had to really work on, all right, I got to give these kids the emotional availability, the time and attention that they have needed in their teens and 20s that I give to my clients.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge.
Yeah. Well, you'll have moments where you'll ask me a question.
Yeah.
And then I'll answer the question. And then
I don't listen.
Obviously you don't, because then you'll ask the question, the same exact question will be asked like 90 seconds later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, didn't we just talk about this? Like,
yeah, you have said that to me
bring
before.
your twin back in here, because I think I was talking to her. Like, what just happened?
Yeah, because my mind is racing.
Yeah, and I get
right.
why, and I'm patient. Like, I don't like call you out and be like, really? Like,
well, you've gotten irritated. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
There are times where it's like, okay, stop. Like stop it. I mean, the family has given you feedback on, like, you'll ask for some help doing something. Right. And like the person, whether it's me or somebody else, will be like, okay, I got you. And I'm going to go do it. And not even allowing that person to start doing that thing that you asked them to do, you've already rattled off like 2 or 3 or 4 other things to do. And they're
Yeah,
like,
I do
okay.
that.
And I'm like,
Yes.
wait,
Yes. I
okay.
do.
Like, all right, now I have a list. Okay, that's fine. But now I just need to understand, like, what do you want done first? Like,
Yeah.
what's the most, and I've said this to you, like, all right, put this in order for me. Like, what's the most
Oh, like
urgent
things
thing?
to
What's
do
the
around the
most,
house when
well,
I
just,
like,
it could be
yeah,
anything. Like,
right,
hey, grab a dish towel. Hey, can you go like empty the dishwasher? Hey, can you like, and it's like,
right.
wait.
And I'm not making excuses. It's not right. I have done that. I
Yeah,
do that. And I think my mind is going a mile a minute
sure it
with
is.
the
Yeah,
mental load of things that have to be
yeah,
done. Maybe we're getting ready to have a party, people
yeah,
over, and I need these things done because I'm like the emotion, like as kind of like the person who heads up like hosting dinner party events, and I am barking orders. I know that.
yeah.
I know that. Then I forget the first one I said, and I'm on to the fourth or fifth. It's true. It
But
is true. I would be annoyed by me.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we work really well together like that, right? Like, because you're thinking about all the things that need to get done,
Yeah.
and in your mind, they're all critical. And maybe you do have an order, and does it really matter? I don't know. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does make a bit of difference. And I'm also the one that's like, let's go. Like, I'm the one that's like,
Right.
let's
No,
get
yeah,
this
yeah. You
stuff
get going.
done. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't mess around and dilly dally and like, okay, all right, I have a list of 12 things now. Like, let's go. Or I'll write them down. Like, if there's a whole bunch of things to do so that I don't miss one.
Right.
Right. But you and
Yeah.
I kind of have worked on that like over the
Okay. So
years.
give me good feedback. Give me positive feedback now. Tell me what I do well with the
Oh,
listening.
oh, is this a bookend thing? Is this what we're doing?
We're doing the sandwich.
No,
Positive, negative, positive.
well, I think one thing that I can say, like, I very much appreciate, so you will, because a lot of times I won't go there, like in a conversation, like I won't really, maybe because I don't think to or I don't want to. I don't know. Maybe it depends on what we're
Both,
talking about.
probably.
Probably a little bit of both. But like you'll make sure that like, hey, like eyes, let's go. And we're gonna drill down on something right
Yeah.
now and take the time to actually do that. And then you're really good about you'll ask like good questions or you'll say something that's gonna make me think about something very differently.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, now it's like I need to like think that through a little bit more. And then you'll say something else. So like I appreciate your skills that you use for your professional
Oh, thanks.
world,
Yeah.
right? Because that some of that stuff drips into our personal world. And
Absolutely. It
it's not
does.
like you're psychoanalyzing me or I'm in your therapy session or you're in mine. Like it's not that. It's just that the skills that you have is they come up and you
That's
say
just who I
stuff.
am in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just who I
And
am.
you do
Yeah.
listen. I mean, yeah, we're critical with you because sometimes we feel like you don't, or you'll be like, hurry up. That's another one. Hurry up, talk faster. Like, okay, it's a story. You can't hit fast forward.
I know. I like, well, I do say this. I'm like, talk faster,
Yeah.
faster.
And I'm like,
Hurry up with the
do you
story.
not want to hear my story? Then
Yeah.
okay, then
Yeah.
just say that. I've said that to you before. And I know it's not that's not what you are saying, but because your mind
Well,
races
and I
sometimes.
think people can relate to this. Like, when like you're busy, like we're busy, and like maybe you've come in from work and like I'm doing some work on the computer, like I'm doing something in my business. Maybe I'm trying to put an email together or I'm
Sure.
responding to somebody and you come in. And I mean, I've done this to my own kids. I've done it to you. I do it to you all the time. And it's like, okay, okay, you're interrupting me. I'm in the middle of reading something. Maybe it's even just reading. Like I'm in the middle of doing something and you come in and you want to talk about how much like guess what happened today, and I want to hear that too, but I need you to hurry up because I got to get back to the work I was doing.
Right.
And I think we've all done that. We've all done like, and I'll just say to you, hurry up, move the story along because I want to hear the end of it, but I got to get back to this. And I know that I've done it with my kids, and they're like, you don't want to, you want to listen, and maybe you don't want to be rude. You think it's air quote being rude if you tell the person, no, not right now. Actually, that's the better thing to do is to say, you know what, I want to listen and I want to hear this. And and I've said this to you too, because I have started to do this. Like, I want to give you my undivided attention. I can't do this right now. I need 15 minutes because I have to get through these emails that
Yeah.
I'm way backlogged on.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's good. And then it's like, and we're like, okay, good. That's fine. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
You'll say to me, can you tell me this on the walk or walking the dogs? Let's talk about this on the walk. And I love that because we save that time on our walk. We're going to talk about, you'll tell me a story or we'll talk about an issue that's come up. versus we were doing that to each other, and we'd be like, talk faster.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do two things at once and we can't multitask. And
Yeah.
your story deserves the time and attention, and I couldn't give to it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that was back to listening to understand, not to win. The next skill or habit that people who are emotionally mature, what they employ is they repair quickly after a rupture. So they repair quickly after there's been a fight or an argument. They're not letting problems just sit and rot because there's the resentment, right? They circle back to an issue, right? They clean up their mess. They're doing their work. This is 12-step to clean up their side of the street. All right. And so that's why they're wanting to deal with something right away. They're not letting it simmer. They're not letting themselves or the situation stew, right? They don't make people also earn their apology, earn the apology. That's really important, right? So it sounds like, maybe there's a rupture, they got in a fight with someone, and you, like, if I got in a fight with you, I may say to you, like, I got really defensive with you. I got really mad really quickly, and I got really defensive because the way you brought that up. Or you may say to me, well, that wasn't fair. That wasn't a fair comment when you said that. I didn't deserve that. And another way that they make a repair is like, well, and you have done this and I've done this, and this is so helpful. I actually had an employee of mine do this, and I never forgot it. And she said, I will never do that again. And here's what I'm going to do differently. So she acknowledged it. I don't think she even fully agreed with me, but she said, okay, that's how she wants to run this business. I will never do that again. And she gave me a solution. And she said, here's what I'm going to do different. I never forgot it.
Yeah.
It was so helpful. She was a really good employee. And that's one of the reasons why she was a good employee.
Yeah.
Move quickly through it.
Well, and it's solution based. Right. You're coming.
But she acknowledged.
Yeah.
She acknowledged, okay, this is what Anna thinks. This is what Anna's feeling about the situation. Anna didn't like the way I handled it. Anna didn't like what I did there. That will never happen again.
Yeah.
Right. So, and here's what I'm going to do different. Right.
Like
so
that.
Repair, make it repair. Okay. You want to flex everybody? That's your maturity flex right there. Making a repair and saying what you're going to do different. That's your flex.
Yeah. And so is there an apology as part of that moment, or is that not always the case or the need? Like, should there be an apology in there maybe?
There's not always a need for an apology.
Okay.
In that situation with me, I just wanted something done differently, and I didn't want I didn't want to see that again.
Okay.
I didn't want to experience that again.
Yeah.
And she didn't apologize, and she didn't really need to apologize. I didn't really want her to apologize. I needed to acknowledge something I was seeing, and she made the repair, and she acknowledged it. She said, I won't do that again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so let's go to number 9. What do emotionally mature people do differently than everybody else? They apologize when they need to, and they do it cleanly. Okay. So emotionally mature people, they can say, I'm sorry without turning it into a negotiation or defense. And what I find is that people really struggle with saying, I'm sorry. It's ego, it's defensiveness. And I wish I could tell people, just put down your armor, put down your defenses, eat some humble pie, and say you're sorry.
Yeah.
It is so soothing for people to hear that. When I've said I'm sorry to you, when I've said it's sorry to my kids, like, they come up like ready for a fight. Like, mom's going to be mad at me and I'm mad at her and and I have said I'm sorry. Like, what? And you say, I'm sorry. Like, oh, okay. You're sorry?
You just look.
I've seen it. I've seen the look on their face. I've seen it with you. I've seen like them, like, I could see that they were like ready for a brawl, a verbal brawl. And I was like, oh, okay, you're sorry. Well, I guess like everything just went out the window because she's sorry. And I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I've really worked on this. Well, I hope I'm a little better because I am a therapist and coach. So hopefully I have some life experience here. But that's really important is learning to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people won't do that.
Yeah. It's big. You're right.
It's big.
I'm thinking about things at work where stuff has gone sideways, and sometimes there's not an apology, and it's like, maybe there should have been, right? It's like, own it maybe and apologize.
And here's what it looks like, everybody. It's not, I'm sorry, but get that butt out of there. I'm sorry. 2 words. It's two words in a full sentence. I'm sorry. Or you could do I'm sorry and
Yeah.
it's like yes and from improv. Yes and I'm
Yeah.
sorry and this is what I'm going to do different next time. I'm sorry and I will not do that again. I'm sorry and whatever else you want to say. Get the butt out of there, okay?
The but is an eraser, right?
Yeah.
Because it erases what
Yes, it does.
what you just said.
And don't say, which I've had people do to me, I'm sorry. This is not an apology, but I have to say it. I hope most of you already know this. I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry you're so hurt. I'm sorry that you're so mad. You're not apologizing. You're defensive and you're really kind of sort of one upping that person. You're still kind of in fight mode.
Yeah.
Do not say to somebody, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's the worst. And that's not an apology.
Well, so there's the word but and there's the word you. And
Yeah.
probably neither of those two words
There you
should
go.
be used,
There you
right?
go.
Is that
Yeah.
fair to say
Fair.
that? Okay.
Fair, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You know, what it also looks like emotionally mature individuals, that they name what they're sorry for in their tone
Mm.
and their behavior and in their impact. Okay. They name what they're sorry for. They don't demand instant forgiveness either.
Mm.
They don't demand it. They let the person sit with where they're at. Okay. And they back it up with change. And that's what I talked about earlier with the solution, my former employee, with here's a solution. They back it up with a solution. They back it up with change. They do differently going forward.
Mm. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. Here's a clean script for you. Like I'm sorry for interrupting your conversation tonight. I can see how it landed for you. Next time, I'll make sure to wait until you're done talking before I speak. And that's a really simple one. Okay. So the script is I'm sorry for blank. Think about that for you. I'm sorry for, I can see how that landed. So you're putting yourself in the other person's shoes. You're showing some empathy there.
Yeah.
Next time, I'm going to ...
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. Okay.
Yeah. And I think you have to be really crystal clear on what you're apologizing for, right? Don't make it some big, broad brushed,
Yes.
vague mystery,
Right.
right? Like specify exactly why you're saying that, you know, so the person knows and they're going to receive it so much better. I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is the mostly mature people, they do not weaponize vulnerability. Please, please don't do this.
Mm.
Please don't do this. Okay. If you told somebody something tender and vulnerable, emotionally mature people do not throw it back in their face when they're mad at them. Do not do that. Do not weaponize or take advantage of somebody's vulnerability. Mostly mature people, they don't use someone's wounds as leverage. That's mean. That's like mean fighting. Don't do that. This to me is pretty black and white. Don't do it. Don't do it. I said, okay, so there's not a lot of black and whites in life. This for me is almost a black and white.
Yeah.
There's very few absolutes. This might be an absolute for me. For me. Don't weaponize people's vulnerability. Once they've shared something with you, they've shown you a part of them that they didn't have to show. And they obviously did it because I think they probably felt some safety with you, psychological safety, emotional safety. They felt trust. And then you guys get in a fight and you turn around and you use that against them. That's mean and it's cruel. Don't do it.
Yeah. And they probably won't share with you again. Right?
Oh, absolutely not.
There's going to be a little bit of shaky ground for a minute.
Okay. And then the last one, they don't need to be right. Emotionally mature people do not need to be right. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Needing to be right, you know, it's just fear dressed up as confidence. There's some sort of fear in that person or insecurity in that person that they feel that they need to be right. And it is dressed up as confidence. When I doubt that's what's really going on. Okay. So emotionally mature people, they would rather be effective than righteous. I see this all the time. And I don't see it always in leaders. I see it in the everyday people. I see it in, I do see it in leaders, but I see it mostly in us, the everyday people. They would rather be effective to the people they care about, work, personal life, than being righteous.
That's
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
So, what you see is, and I love this when I see this, like an emotionally mature person might say to another person, you're right. I totally missed that. You're right. My bad. We'll say that like, oh, my bad. You're right. I got that one wrong. Or like, oh, I did not understand. I didn't understand. Just say that 3 words. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And think about what's hard about that for you.
Yeah.
Or these 3 words. I was wrong. I was wrong.
That's a tough one
I didn't
for
see
some
that.
people.
I didn't get
It's
it.
a
I was
tough
wrong.
one for all of us, right?
Even if you don't
Yeah.
think you're wrong, if somebody's having a problem, you could say, I was wrong in that.
Sure.
Because it's so upsetting to you
Yeah.
that I said that when I said it in front of those people, for example, or when we had that conversation and then I brought it up again. Like, I was wrong in that.
Yeah.
It made you feel that way. I was wrong. Even if deep down inside you don't feel wrong. It's not about that the person's telling you
Yeah.
what they think and they feel. Admit. Pony up.
Yeah.
Pony up a
Yeah.
vulnerability on your part and say, I was
sometimes you
wrong.
gotta just grab the reins and be like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here are your takeaways, everybody. Now we're getting to the end. If you're still listening, we're an hour in. Please don't forget about the group coaching. Sign up. Go to the show notes. You could click the link right in there and it'll take you right to sign up and getting into the group coaching. Okay. I want to see you all in there. Okay. You're not going to regret it. Okay. Let's go to the power moves. These are your takeaways. I'm going to do a bit of a recap. Okay. So, power move number 1. This is your 90-second pause. When you're activated or you're triggered, I want you to do nothing for 90 seconds. No texting, no emailing that person. No, one last thing. All right. Just breathe and let your body come down. All right. Just let yourself chill for a minute. Okay. Your second power move, say it early, say it clean. Okay. Use this line. Here's a line for you. I want to say this now while I still feel calm, so it doesn't become resentment later. There you go. There's your sentence. I want to say this now while I still feel calm, because if I don't, I'm going to develop some resentment later. Okay. There you go. There's your sentence. Okay. Number 3, power move. Use one, both, and sentence. Okay. So before you confront or you decide, say one nuanced sentence out loud. Okay. So I'm upset and I can see your intention. I'm upset. And I can see what your intention was. Okay. Both and. All right. Always remember that. It's not but, and or. It's both and. Okay. Your number 4 power move. Clean ownership. Don't shame spiral here. Okay. There's no room for shame. You could use that was on me. That was on me. Own it. That was on me. I'm learning. I'm adjusting. There you go. Clean. And the other person who's going to hear that's going to be like, wow, they've really made some changes because they owned it. You know how far that goes with people? When you own something?
A long ways.
It goes such a long way.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, power move, boundaries. One sentence, one action. Okay. Say something. It's calm. There's no drama. Here's an example. I'm not available for that. Then follow through. Okay. You're gonna end the call. You're gonna exit the thread. You're gonna change the plan. Okay. So follow through. Hey, good talking to you. We'll talk again soon. Find a way to end the text and the thread. Change the plan. I'm not available for that. Your next power move, the 3-line repair. I got reactive. Here's what I heard you were saying. Repeat back to them what they said. So you're saying, so what I'm hearing is this is what happened. This is your viewpoint of what happened in that situation. This is what you feel. Okay, here's what I'm going to do different next time. I hear you. I'm owning it. And here's a solution, like my employee did years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next power move, no but apology. If the word but shows up, it's not an apology anymore. It's a defense on your part. Okay. Try, I'm sorry. That's it. Period. I'm sorry. 2 words. Okay. That's a power move on your part when you learn to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you don't get defensive and you don't have to say, but. No. Don't do that. Okay. You are showing confidence. You don't understand how confident you look when you say, I'm sorry, and that's it. And you don't have to, talk, get defensive. That does not bode well for you in looking like a person with integrity and confidence. You don't realize how you look in people's eyes when you just say something like, I'm sorry, and here's what I'm going to do to fix it.
I like it.
Respect for you goes way up.
Yeah.
Your integrity goes way up, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel good about yourself. And your last power move, drop the gavel. When you feel the urge to
drop the gavel.
When you feel the urge to prove that you're right, ask yourself, do I want to be right? Or do I want to get this better? Do I want to get this better? Do I want to be right? Or do I want to understand better? Or do I want to learn to do this better?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you say I want to be right, then I would ask you, why do you want to be right? And I'd ask you to do a little bit of a deep dive and sit with yourself on, well, why do you want to be right? What is that about for you? Okay.
I like that too.
Okay. So those are the 11 habits of emotionally mature people. This is something we all can work on. Okay. Every day we can work on this. And I gave you your power moves. All right, everyone. Hope that was helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast with 5 stars. We love your comments. Keep them coming, and your reviews. Keep them coming. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay. And until next time, mad love.